incredibly talented Brazilian actress. Nominated for an Oscar for I'm Still Here.
Yeah, it's a powerful film.
Really captured people's attention. This film, based on a true story,
Right.
set during Brazil's military coup.
And what makes this deep dive even more fascinating is that we're going beyond just the headlines.
Exactly.
We're really going to explore Fernanda's artistic journey through this conversation that she had with Jessica Chastain.
Another Oscar winner.
Yes, exactly.
It's incredible.
It's a fantastic conversation, really insightful.
Yeah, it's not just about the awards and the buzz.
Right.
It's about really getting to know Fernanda as an artist.
Yeah.
And I think to kick things off, we have to talk about her family background.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, her mother is the legendary Fernanda Montenegro.
Exactly.
The first Brazilian nominated for Best Actress.
It's like film royalty in Brazil.
It is.
And Fernanda really acknowledges how that upbringing shaped her. I mean, you can hear it in her voice when she talks about inheriting that independent spirit from her mother.
Right.
That drive to create,
Yeah.
to find meaningful work.
It makes you wonder, like, is that artistic legacy a blessing or a burden?
That's a great question.
But let's talk about I'm Still Here. This film is intense.
Oh, it really is.
Fernanda plays Eunice,
Right.
the wife of a congressman who disappears during the coup. It's a heavy role.
It's a really demanding role. And what struck me was how Fernanda didn't just, research the role. She practically became Eunice.
Right.
She even worked with an acting coach who was also a psychologist.
Wait, a psychologist?
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Isn't that interesting?
Most actors work on, the external aspects of a character, but bringing in a psychologist seems like a way to really get to the core of a person's being.
To the internal, to the psychology of the character.
Yeah, and they did these intense memory exercises.
Oh, yeah. Very intense.
I read they even spent one rehearsal
I know.
with Fernanda just lying down,
Oh, wow.
imagining Eunice's time in prison.
It's a very unique approach.
It gives me chills.
Yeah.
Just thinking about it.
Yeah. And it really speaks to her dedication.
Oh, yeah.
And the depth she brought to the role.
And then there's the director, Walter Salles.
Oh, yeah. He's amazing.
From what I've read, he has a very distinct style that just seems perfectly suited for this kind of raw, realistic story.
Absolutely.
I think both he and Fernanda were very clear
Yeah.
that they wanted to avoid any hint of melodrama.
Right. It had to feel real.
Yeah.
Authentic.
And Salles have known for creating surprises on set
Oh, he loves to do that.
to evoke these authentic reactions from his actors.
Yeah. Keep them on their toes.
It's not just about hitting your marks and saying your lines.
No.
You have to be present
Yeah.
in the moment and respond in a real way.
It must be challenging as an actor.
Oh, I imagine.
But also so exhilarating.
Yeah.
There's one scene in I'm Still Here
Okay.
where Eunice is confronted by these soldiers.
Right.
And apparently, Salles told the actors playing the soldiers to improvise their lines and actions.
Oh, wow.
To create this sense of real danger
Wow.
and unpredictability for Fernanda.
No wonder her performance is so powerful.
You can feel that tension,
Yeah.
that fear in that scene.
Like you're right there with her.
It's gripping.
This actually ties into a point that Fernanda makes about theater versus film acting.
Oh, yeah.
She seems to have a real passion for the stage.
She does.
Doesn't she?
She really does. And I can see why she talks about how theater gives actors more creative control,
Right.
more ownership of their performance.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of energy.
Right.
And it's clear that she thrives in that environment.
Absolutely.
She even mentions, doing a one-woman show based on a book
Okay.
about a 70-year-old woman's
Wow.
sun life.
Oh, wow. That's a little unexpected.
Yeah, it is.
But it definitely shows
Right.
she's not afraid to push boundaries.
No.
Speaking of pushing boundaries,
Yes.
we have to talk about Fernanda as a writer.
Oh, absolutely.
She's not just an actress, she's a published author,
Yes, she is.
which I find fascinating.
True.
That she turned to writing
Yeah,
almost to take control of her creative expression.
exactly.
Tell stories on her own terms.
It makes sense, right? I mean, a lot of artists crave that autonomy,
Yeah.
especially in an industry that can be so controlling.
You're always at the mercy of directors, producers,
Right.
the whims of Hollywood.
Exactly. But as a writer, you're the one calling the shots.
You are.
You're in control.
Yeah, it's like taking ownership of your voice, your vision.
And I think that's something that she really admires in Jessica Chastain, too.
Oh, interesting.
Both of them are very vocal about the importance of creating their own work,
Yeah,
of being the driving force behind their project.
it's inspiring.
It is.
It's a reminder that you don't have to wait for permission
No.
to tell your stories.
You can make things happen.
Yeah,
Forge your own path.
And it's interesting how that connects back to her family legacy.
Right.
Her parents weren't just actors.
Right.
They were independent theater producers.
That's right.
So it's almost like that spirit of creating your own work is ingrained in her background.
In her DNA.
It's like a through line.
Yeah.
Through generations.
Absolutely. And speaking of through lines,
Yes.
we can't overlook the parallel between Fernanda and her mother.
Oh, of course.
Both nominated for Oscars.
It's incredible.
It's a remarkable achievement.
It is.
It really is.
Testament to family, legacy.
And talent.
And even Jessica Chastain shares a story about Anne Hathaway
Oh.
winning an Oscar for a role her mother had played on stage.
It's amazing.
Talk about pressure.
I know, right?
But it makes you wonder about those influences that shape an artist.
It is fascinating how the passions
Yeah.
and experiences of one generation can really shape the next generation.
And they may not even realize it.
Right.
It's all interconnected.
It is.
Art and life.
Exactly.
Before we wrap up, I want to touch upon something Fernanda and Jessica discuss.
Okay.
The evolving roles of women in film.
It's a hot topic.
It's a topic that's often discussed, but Fernanda makes a really interesting point.
She does. She observes this trend where women are being portrayed as strong, complex.
Which is great,
Yeah.
but men are often reduced to,
Idiots.
is it a provocative statement?
It is. On one hand,
Yeah.
it's fantastic to see these more nuanced and powerful female characters.
Right.
It's long overdue.
But is it possible that in trying to correct this imbalance, we're swinging the pendulum too far in the other direction? Are we creating a new set of stereotypes?
Yeah, even if they're seemingly positive.
It's a complex issue.
Yeah.
Are we just swapping one set of stereotypes for another?
Right. I mean,
Ideally, we want well-rounded characters,
absolutely.
regardless of gender.
Yeah, we should strive for portrayals that reflect,
Yeah.
the full spectrum of human experience.
The messiness.
The complexity, the contradictions.
Yeah.
Both men and women are capable of,
Yeah.
strength, vulnerability, intelligence,
Yeah.
and yes, even foolishness.
It's about moving beyond those simplistic representations.
Yeah, embracing the messiness of real life.
Exactly. And I think that's where we turn to you,
Yes.
our listener.
You're a listener.
What do you think about this trend?
As you're watching films, TV shows, pay attention to how male and female characters are being portrayed.
Are they multidimensional?
Are they complex?
Or are they confined by stereotypes?
It's a conversation worth having.
It is.
We encourage you to engage with it.
Critically, fifely.
Yeah.
Because ultimately,
The stories we consume really do shape our understanding of the world.
and our place in it.
And I think what we've seen with Fernanda Torres is that
Yeah.
sometimes the most compelling stories come from those who are willing to,
Yeah.
challenge conventions,
Bring boundaries.
create their own narratives,
And whether it's through her acting, her writing,
bold choices on stage.
she really embodies that independent spirit.
She does.
That is so inspiring.
It's a reminder that art can be a powerful force for change,
It is.
and that we all have a role to play in shaping those stories
Yeah.
that define our culture.
So keep exploring
Keep questioning
and keep diving deep.
into the world of art and ideas.
Absolutely. And until next time.
Remember, the best deep dives are the ones that leave you with more questions than answers.